In the summer of 2025, Canada became the stage for an environmental disaster of unprecedented scale. What began as a series of isolated blazes in the remote boreal forests soon erupted into a nationwide inferno. From British Columbia to Nova Scotia, hundreds of fires raged simultaneously, a fiery constellation visible from space. The numbers were staggering, the images apocalyptic. Flames devoured ancient forests and smoke choked the skies, turning day into a surreal twilight. Major cities, hundreds of kilometers from the front lines, were buried in a thick, acrid haze, forcing millions indoors and bringing daily life to a standstill. For centuries, fire has been a natural part of Canada's ecosystems, but this felt different. This was something more ferocious, more relentless. But here's the real question. Is this just nature's fury, or is a more powerful human-driven force at play? Is climate change the main suspect? The data paints a stark picture. This year's wildfire season is one of the worst in Canadian history. Over 7.3 million hectares have burned. To put that into perspective, that's an area larger than the entire country of Ireland, incinerated in a matter of months. This figure shatters the previous 10-year average, not by a small margin, but by an order of magnitude. The catastrophe didn't materialize out of thin air. Record-breaking heat waves and weeks of extreme drought set the stage for disaster. A stubborn heat dome parked itself over the country, pushing temperatures into the high 30s Celsius, unheard of for that time of year. This intense, prolonged heat baked the landscape, and the vast boreal forest was transformed into a tinderbox on a continental scale. And this is where the connection becomes undeniable. Experts agree. Climate change isn't just a background factor. It's the driving force making these fires bigger, hotter, and harder to control. It's a simple, brutal equation. Warmer temperatures create a thirstier atmosphere, which acts like a giant sponge, pulling moisture from the soil and from the trees. Drier forests turn into ready-made fuel for any spark, be it from lightning or human carelessness. The result is not just more fires, but fires that behave in extreme, unpredictable ways, creating their own weather systems and defying traditional firefighting methods. The damage is staggering, and the human cost is almost impossible to comprehend. Over 200,000 people were forced to flee their homes, often with just minutes to spare. Families were separated in the chaos, grabbing what little they could before joining the long lines of traffic snaking away from the inferno. Entire communities, places filled with memories and lifetimes of work, were simply erased from the map, reduced to a haunting landscape of chimneys and foundations. The loss wasn't just in property, but in the very fabric of people's lives. Beyond the fire lines, wildlife populations were devastated. Countless animals were caught in the blaze or forced from their scorched habitats, a catastrophic loss of biodiversity, and the impact reached far beyond the forests. Air quality plummeted across the continent. A thick, acrid haze descended upon major cities, pushing places like Toronto into the unenviable position of having the world's most polluted air. For weeks, the simple act of breathing became a health hazard. Just like the flames, a different kind of fire was raging online. Misinformation. Malicious actors and conspiracy theorists seized the opportunity, spreading dangerous falsehoods. There were baseless claims that the fires were deliberately set, or even caused by bizarre space laser theories designed to sow chaos. These falsehoods did more than just muddy the waters. They had real-world consequences. They slowed down crucial rescue and aid efforts by creating confusion. At a time when collective action and unity were needed most, this digital wildfire fueled division, leaving communities battling not only the flames, but a tidal wave of deception. So what's the solution? The path forward is complex, but not impossible. It begins with decisive global action, stronger climate policies that aggressively phase out fossil fuels and invest massively in renewable energy. This isn't just about switching power sources. It's about fundamentally reimagining our economies for a sustainable future. On the ground, we must revolutionize forest management. This means embracing indigenous knowledge of land stewardship, which has managed these ecosystems for millennia. It involves strategic controlled burns to clear out the underbrush that fuels megafires and creating more resilient landscapes by planting fire-resistant native species. Technology offers another crucial line of defense. Advanced early warning systems powered by AI and satellite networks can predict fire behavior with stunning accuracy, giving communities precious time to prepare. Drones can monitor vast remote areas for ignition points, while new sensor technologies can detect fires before they even produce visible smoke. Because if climate change is the match, human action is the extinguisher. Every policy change, every acre of managed forest, every technological breakthrough is a drop of water on the flames. Canada's 2025 wildfires are a stark, smoke-filled warning to the entire world. This isn't a distant problem, it's a present-day crisis. If we ignore these alarm bells, the apocalyptic scenes from Canada will not be an anomaly. They will become our new, terrifying, global normal. The choice is ours. Will we rise to meet this challenge with the urgency it demands? The question is, will we act before it's too late? Subscribe for more in-depth climate stories.